My training definitely changes between preparing for racing and preparing for some other personal project in the mountains. Racing, even in European races, which are often thought of as being more technical and steeper than North American races, you're still running a ton. Like there's just a lot of running to be done in a 80 or 100 kilometer race, you know? So you have to be doing that kind of running and training too. But if what I'm really focusing on is, say, it's like some high alpine ridge scramble, or link up or traverse of some kind, I've got to be sure that I'm doing the technical climbing in my training as well, and or you know, easy soloing, that kind of thing, to prepare for that. Because you need, I find even after like a winter off where I'm just skiing all winter, it takes a couple weeks to get back into the headspace of being really comfortable on vertical ground. So the more you can stay in touch with that, and the stronger climber you can become, the easier that stuff's gonna be. So yeah, my training definitely shifts between the two. For me, the trade-off between technical climbing preparation and running is that running just exhausts you. And you have to be able to put in the time on the rock to improve as a climber, you know, to build finger strength and all that kind of stuff, and technique. And if you're just too tired from having run 3 hours that day, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do that effectively. So it's definitely, it's just an energy trade-off thing mostly, rather than a body type thing, I think. Purpose that La Sportiva just came out with, I think the reason they made that was to sort of document or introduce me to the greater public as someone who's interested in more than just running, but who has this background and this notoriety as a runner. And also, you know, I'm new to the brand after being away for like 8 years from the brand, so to kind of brand me with La Sportiva as well. But beyond that, it's, yeah, I think trying to get a little bit at what makes me tick as a person and an athlete. But when I broke my leg 5 years ago, that was when the major shift occurred. That's when I shifted from being completely and like monomaniacally focused on just running. You know, I was running 200 miles a week. I just like had my best season ever, like with Western States and White River, and you know, I was, you know, kind of on the top of it all. But then I broke my leg in 2011, and I was forced to think about like, what can I do that still satisfies my need to like get outside every day, but isn't quite as abusive as running is.
That's okay.
Then I kind of reconnected with climbing. It's something I'd done for previously in college. Started doing a lot of that, scrambling in the flat irons. And then, you know, last year, I started biking, and skiing became a big thing a couple of years ago for me too. And these all grew out of like not being able to run, but they've really like enriched my life. Like, you know, whenever you're just one-dimensional in something, sure, you get really good at that, but it's also, it becomes uninteresting at some point. I was down in Patagonia in December with Colin Haley, which was a giant leap in terms of kind of the scale of mountains and the style of climbing the mountains. It wasn't commensurate like in my progression as a climber, you know, but Colin invited me, and that's kind of a tough opportunity to turn down because Colin's obviously highly accomplished down there, one of the most accomplished guys down there. But it just turned out to be one of the worst weather seasons down there this year. No one, I think Saratoga got one ascent. No one climbed Fitzroy by anything but the Super Canaletta, I think. Just pretty grim weather-wise. And we both ended up being down there for just the month of December then. We only got out in the mountains twice. A short little traverse over Guigemay, and then an attempt on the Super Can on Fitzroy. And yeah, so it was a wildly disappointing season for Colin. Because he usually just goes down there and does everything. But for me, it was a big step up and kind of really exciting to just climb somewhere exotic like that. I was not that fit at that point in time because I've been injured, and I'm in terrible fitness in December. It's my low point of the year always. And Colin's generally pretty fit. We were, I mean, I was a little stronger than him. Like I would carry more weight on the approaches and that kind of thing. But Colin's, he's a fit guy. I wasn't intimidated by climbing with Colin. I was a little intimidated by the mountains for sure. But then you go out the first time and you're like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. Like I know how to climb alpine rock. And simoing with Colin's just like simoing back home in Colorado. And you know, it's just sort of the same stuff. The thing that was a big step up for me was just the scale of the mountains. Like getting off any of those peaks, none of them were walk-offs, obviously. Before this trip, I'd never done more than I think 5 or 6 rappels in a row. And you know, descending off of Guijemay was like 15, and then wrapping the super can was like 25 or 30 rappels or something crazy, you know, and we're simul wrapping all of them, and I'd never simul wrapped before, and which it was all fine, but it's just, it's funny because all of this is just like second nature for Colin. For me, I'm just like, wow, this is cool. Okay, cool, let's do it, you know? It was really cool climbing with Colin though, because it kind of, it just shows you like where the level is, like where you need to, what kind of skills you need to be developing, and what kind of comforts you need to be trying to improve in. And because like like I was saying, I was probably a little more fit than Colin down there, but like he was just toasting me in the soloing part of the super can, which is like, it's like 60 degrees snow and ice, you know, neve, that kind of thing. So it's not hard, but I thought that I would be able to just like keep up with him, no problem, that kind of thing, but I just don't have the same technique, you know? And I wasn't even gripped or anything. I'm just slower on that stuff because I haven't done it for 20 years the same way Colin has. You know, I've been running for 20 years. We were attempting the direct finish, the direct variation of the super can, and it hasn't been repeated, and it was put up at like 6A, A2, I think. And it just got to where when we started aiding, it was just going way too slow, and you're just always, it's just like any alpine climbing mission, you're balancing like, well, when's the rime gonna start melting off, and when's the storm gonna come in tonight, so should we take the extra like 5 hours it's gonna take to get to the top here because we're like stepping in slings and that kind of thing, or should we wrap? And there was there was like 5 other people on the route, and it was a mess, dude. Like, this guy was taking a 100-foot whipper in the alpine. Yeah, it was his 4th fall of the day, 4th lead fall of the day. He dropped his ice axe. It's like, bro, what are you doing? But yeah, it was, yeah, that kind of thing that was the only time that I was properly intimidated, when I saw this guy fall 100 feet and not get hurt. But you just like, for a minute you think he's dead. You know, you're like, wow, like he's not moving, and now we're gonna have to like rescue this bro, you know? Like, but yeah, it all ended well. Definitely excited to get back down there and do some stuff. I mean, we got out 2 days in a month, you know? It's the way it goes though.